Donald Trump has warned that all hell is going to break out if the Hamas does not release Israeli hostages before he takes office. The president-elect has said that he had a very good talk with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu about the war in Gaza during what he called a recap call. Trump reiterated his threat.
On Bibi, we had a very good talk. We discussed what is going to happen, and I'll be very available on January 20th, and we'll see. As you know, I gave warning that if these hostages aren't back home by that date, all hell's going to break out, and very strong.
Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz has claimed that the hostage deal with the Hamas is closer than ever. Katz said they have not been this close to an agreement since the previous deal. And according to reports, an Israeli technical team had arrived in Doha to discuss the ceasefire and the hostage deal. Adding on to hopes of a truce, a senior Hamas official based in Doha has also said that the negotiations are progressing. Meanwhile, Yemen's Houthi rebels have claimed an attack against Israel. Now, in a statement, the Iran-backed Houthis have said that they hit an Israeli military target in the occupied area of Jaffa, a reference to the Tel Aviv area. And this comes after the Israeli military earlier announced that it had intercepted a missile fired from Yemen.
نفذت القوة الصاروخية.
The missile force of the Yemeni armed forces carried out a military operation targeting a military target of the Israeli enemy in the occupied area of Jaffa with a hypersonic ballistic missile type Palestine II. The operation has successfully achieved its objectives.
حققت العملية أهدافها بنجاح بفضل الله.
Now, as clashes with the Houthis continue, American forces have carried out an airstrike against a Houthi command and control facility. The U.S. Central Command has said that the facility was used by the Yemeni rebels to coordinate attacks against the U.S. Navy warships and merchant vessels in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. Remember, the Yemeni rebels say that their attacks are in solidarity with Palestinians in Gaza. And for more on this, we are now being joined by our correspondent Jody Cohen, who's joining us live from Renana. Now, Jody, mediators appear more hopeful that a ceasefire and a hostage release deal could happen soon. What has changed? There's been no progress in the talks for the past year.
Hi, Isha. So I think there are numerous new factors. Firstly, Hezbollah has been weakened by Israeli operations. And then we saw the ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon. So Hamas has effectively lost its partner in the war against Israel. And we saw the fall of Syria's President Assad, which has meant that Iran and Hezbollah have been further weakened. We also saw President Trump, he's been elected, and he's reiterated, as you said, that all the hostages need to be back by inauguration or there will be hell to pay. And as one of the hostages' mothers has said, President Biden has been saying since the 7th of October that all the hostages need to be returned, but without the or else. And last week, the US told Turkey, Egypt and Qatar to use whatever influence they have over Hamas to secure a deal. So there certainly seems to be more pressure on Hamas. US mediators have said that that Hamas has been intransigent over the past year, and it's now thought that they could agree to a partial hostage release deal in exchange for a number of Palestinian security prisoners being released early from prison and a pause in the fighting. And the US has said that hostage talks have been productive in recent days, but gaps do still remain.
Speak of a hostage release deal and perhaps another ceasefire deal as well. Would you say that that would perhaps signify the end of the Gaza war?
So President Biden has been saying repeatedly that the war could end and all the suffering could end tomorrow if Hamas lays down its arms. Israel has also been saying that it won't end the war until Hamas is no longer in power in Gaza and no longer a threat on its doorstep, on its border with Gaza. And there are many in the international community who would also like to see Hamas replaced with non-violent representatives of the Palestinian people. In the meantime, negotiations are ongoing. The IDF has said that an elite force is being transferred from Lebanon to Gaza, and perhaps this is designed to put more pressure on Hamas to surrender. We know that an Israeli delegation is in Doha for talks, and there are reports that we could potentially see a deal by Christmas, although I have to say that there have been numerous false hopes over the past year, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with that.
Thank you, Jody, for joining us with those details.